Hello, can you all hear me okay? I think I got it all working. Been playing around with a microphone today so that it sounds a little bit closer, not like I'm yelling into a giant room, which I am. The ceilings are very tall in this room here. All right, so hi, welcome to Yoga with Janelle. I am Janelle. There might be a couple of guest appearances tonight, aka my dog is laying right here. You might be able to see a paw or something, and she'll usually like to come and snuggle up if that's an option. All right, so today's class is Yin Yang style, so a little bit of movement, a little bit of restorative, and just to hit in had a bit of this and that. This is my dog Callie. She loves to look out the windows and loves to watch snowfall, so what a perfect day for her. Okay, can you go lay down? Go lay down. Good girl. Not on this side. Excellent. And so let's start by just starting to settle in. If you have been to any of my classes, I always like to start laying down. So if you want to start laying down, like you're at home, go ahead, do whatever you want. Oh, I'm also freezing cold, so I'm going to do yoga in a sweater and socks today. So start to settle into a position where you can start to get comfy, can start to connect inward a little bit. Maybe whatever position you find yourself in, if you're seated, you're doing a couple little shoulder rolls or rolling shoulders back and down, extending long from the crown of the head so you're not overarching the head back, but that nice slight tuck of a chin, finding that nice bit of length. Excellent. And then just start to go and see how you're feeling today. And how are those shoulders feeling? Maybe you want palms facing up opposed to palms facing down. Notice how that just helps open through the collarbone. Maybe you want your feet out wide or planted into the floor. Anything that kind of helps work. Find that space. So if you're noticing some of those shadow areas, can you start to release, let them go, unclenching the jaw, relaxing through the forehead, relaxing those eyebrows, just being soft from head to toe, and starting to let everything that might have happened today just kind of fade away as you focus on your space in your mat and take some time to move and stretch and let go. And now start to notice the breath. Can you start to breathe a little bit deeper? Send the inhale a little bit lower into the abdomen, filling the lungs completely, engaging through the diaphragm, and slowing down those exhales, letting it go nice and slow and controlled. Excellent. Take a couple of nice, slow, deep breaths just to start. Can you really feel the movement the breath takes? And as you maybe breathe in through the nose, if the nose is stuffy, of course, breathe through the mouth, but feel it passing through the back of the throat and starting to fill the lungs, maybe right from the very top, filling the lungs, and the rib cage starts to expand. And then that rise of the belly as you breathe deep in using that diaphragm. And then on the exhale, starting to let all of that go. Maybe you're noticing that you start your exhale right in at the belly, or maybe start more at the top, either emptying or emptying. Taking a couple more nice deep breaths, centering in. Excellent. And then maybe if you want, you can set an intention for our time together. I love setting an intention, a purpose. What brings you to your mat today? What do you need to let go of, leave behind? Or what are you hoping to get out of this time? Just playing around with your perspective and how things work. What do you want over the next couple of moments together? Repeat that intention to yourself, setting it in. Take a nice deep inhale. Let it go. Excellent. And then start to invite some movement back towards the body. Maybe a gentle wiggle into the fingers. Maybe start rolling wrists and ankles, wiggling into fingers and toes. Excellent. I'm gonna join you laying down. Should you guys be laying down, as I did cue that. Oh, sorry, my dog also grabbed a super squeaky toy, so this could be fun. Can you leave it? Go lay down. Excellent. Let's bring those arms. Go. Arms up overhead for that nice, good morning stretch. Reach up nice and tall. Feel that arch through the spine. That low back is nice and lift it off. And exhale, just drop the arms down. Release, let go. Let's inhale, reach nice and tall. And maybe even point through the toes. Excellent. Just feel that big stretch. See if you can notice maybe getting a millimeter taller, imagining just all of that length. And exhale, let it go. Let's hug the knees in towards the chest. And take a nice little rock and roll from side to side. Feeling now how that low back is pressing in towards the mat. Shout out to Callie. Beautiful. And then start to come to stillness. Excellent. I'm going to hold on to my left leg here. You can do either leg. We'll do both, but just if you want to keep the cues together. And I'm just planting my right foot into the mat. So I've got a big bend to my knee. My knee is going up towards the ceiling. And instead of that traditional half wind reliever pose, I'm going to bring it into half waterfall. So I'm holding the back of the leg and sending my left foot up towards the ceiling. I'm trying to keep my shoulders nice and relaxed and feeling that nice stretch through the hamstring. So if you want, you can add a little movement or motion into this, adding a little bounce to the leg, or maybe rolling through the ankle, doing a couple circles one direction, and then the other direction. And then come to some stillness. I'm just starting to feel that stretch maybe through the hip, maybe more into the glute and the low back, then particularly into the hamstring. If your hamstring's really tight, that's probably all you'll be feeling. But start to bring some awareness into the body to feel the depth of the stretch. If you naturally hyperextend your knees, just make sure you keep a soft bend to the knee. You might automatically be doing so anyway from tight hamstrings. Excellent. And let's just take a couple full rounds of breath here. We're going to take 3 deep inhales and full complete exhales. And so breathing in nice and deep and let it go. Inhale and release. And again. And let it go. See if on that exhale, you can soften even more. Excellent. Let's release the foot, keeping the foot in the air. Bring the arms out to the side. And then slow with control, as if you're moving that leg through molasses or honey. Lower it down. We'll do for a count of 10. So 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Lower that foot all the way down. Bring a bend to that knee, plant it in, and let's reach on over for that right knee, giving it a nice hug in towards the chest just to start with. And then flipping the hand underneath the leg, sending the foot up towards the ceiling, rolling those shoulders back and down. Just keep those shoulders nice and loose and easy. And then maybe come to that movement of a couple of little pulses through the leg as you start to stretch and bend. Trying to keep the stretch a little bit more dynamic at first, opposed to just more of a static stretch. Excellent. And maybe some stillness through the bounce as we rotate through the ankle, going in one direction a couple of times, and then the other direction. Excellent. Coming to stillness. Maybe hugging that leg in just a touch closer towards the body, really feeling that stretch, trying to really notice it. You'll notice it obviously in the hamstring, but can you notice it in through the hip, into the low back? If you want more from this pose and posture, if you're really not feeling anything here, then you can start to extend that other leg a little bit long. This keeps it more gentle and keeps that low back pressing in towards the mat. Excellent. So we'll take our 3 full breaths here. So breathing in nice and deep. Notice the pause and let it go. Relaxing through, inhaling and exhaling. Let's fill the lungs. Inhale nice and deep. And let it all out, maybe to a sigh. Excellent. Start to release through the foot, nice and slow. Bring the arms out to the side. Maybe extending a little bit more through, and then slowly lowering to a count of 10. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lowering it all the way down. Bending that knee, planting it in towards the ground. So both knees are bent, both feet are pressing in towards the mat. Really roll those shoulders back down and maybe even reach for the heels. It's okay if they don't come to touch, but even just that pushing down motion, and then lift through the heart. Notice how you're creating that length and that space through the front line of the body. Excellent. Let's take a quick exhale breath to set through the core. So belly button towards the spine with a and then keep that and hold. Start to press into the feet. So it's the pressing down into the mat that starts to lift the hips up. Excellent. Just start to feel that engagement through the legs. Make sure the knees are tracking over the feet. You're not opening up. Really try to control that. Squeeze those hip flexors together as you lift the hips up even higher. Coming up to maybe that 60 to 80% range. So you're not quite at your max, but it's more than just a gentle stretch. You're feeling that activation, and keep that chin nice and tucked. Excellent. If you want more, you can interlace the fingers back behind you and press up a little bit higher. Excellent. Really feeling the feet in towards the mat. Maybe give those toes a nice little squeeze into the mat. Maybe press into the heels, lifting the toes up. Feel how that activates into those glutes. Back into the toes. Keep holding. Lift the hips up a little bit more. And with a nice slow exhale, let's lower down one vertebrae at a time. Excellent. Connecting nice and slowly, feeling that little massage along the spine coming all the way down. Beautiful. Let's get ready to press up one more time. I'm pressing into those feet, lifting the hips up and off. Push a little bit harder, lift those hips up a little higher, and really reach for those toes or interlace those hands underneath. Excellent. Feel that openness all throughout the body. And press up a little bit higher. Let's dip down. Not coming all the way down, just lowering the hips and then press back up. Exhale, lower down and press back up. Excellent. Lower down and press back up and hold. Lift those hips nice and high. Activate through those arms. So arms aren't just floppy down, but you're really strong through them. Excellent. And cross the fingers and lower down nice and slow. Coming all the way down this time. Excellent. If you want, you can windshield wiper the legs from side to help release. Beautiful. Excellent. And then let's hug the knees in towards the chest. If you want, you can reach through the knees for the feet or the toes, coming into that nice traditional happy baby. So feet go up towards the ceiling, knees hug in towards the chest. Even if you can't reach your feet, even if you're holding onto your calves or even the back of your knees, all of these still work. And just relax through the shoulders. Find that length through the crown of the head. Excellent. Beautiful. Feel that stretch all through the back. Getting into the hips a little bit. Hips classes have been really popular lately, and so we'll start to stretch those out as well. And then release that nice happy baby. Planting both feet back in. And let's roll up to a seated position. So if you like to roll onto one side and then press on up. Making your way into just a cross-legged position. It's too weird to do yoga with socks on, so I reject that. If you want to, you can, but mine need to come off. And so as you're settling in, feel into those sits bones. Maybe give them a nice little wiggle. Roll those shoulders back and down. Then find some more length through that crown of the head. Excellent. And we're going to just come into some gentle neck stretching here. And so dropping the head towards one side. If this is enough, you can stay here if you want more. Whichever shoulder you drop your head down, bring the opposite arm, reaching those fingertips outward. If you want more still, you can bring that hand on top of the head, not actively pulling down, just adding the weight of the head, feeling that melt into the shoulder. Excellent. Take another full round of breath here. Breathing in nice and slow. Exhale, let it go. Great. If the hand is on the head, start to release there first. And then drop the chin down to the chest. Walk those fingertips back and bring your head towards the other shoulder. And so setting up there, maybe walking the opposite fingertips out. Maybe coming in, bringing that hand on top of the head. You can always adjust where the gaze is as well. If you'd rather look a little bit more down, you'll feel that stretch in a different spot if you change the gaze upward. So being very gentle with your neck, you can play around with that. Find that sweet spot. Start to enjoy it, becoming aware of your neck and your body. Excellent. Couple rounds of breath. If you want to breathe with me, inhaling and exhale, let it out. Excellent. If the hand is on the head, release it and drop the chin towards the chest. Bring the hands in. Bring the hands behind the back and interlace them, interlacing all the fingers, and then start to pull down, lift through the heart. Maybe even look up to activate through the neck. Excellent. Feel that bit of a stretch, and then start to bring the hands away from the sits bones. So I'll just kind of turn here so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm stretching my hands down, lifting through the heart, and then stretching back. Feeling that nice stretch all through the shoulders. Really squeezing those shoulder blades together if you want a little bit more. And then from here, you can go right into a forward fold, or if you want, you can release your arms first and then start to just either bow forward or release forward. If you're keeping those hands up off behind you, maybe squeeze those arms up and maybe try to keep that back nice and flat and straight. Release through the hands and reach the hands forward. Round through the spine, drop the head down. Excellent. One full round of breath here. Pressing into those hands, making your way back up to that nice neutral seated position. And I'm going to just spin back. Let's switch the cross in the feet. So bringing the opposite foot either in front or on top. I'm getting into that non-dominant side of the body. Excellent. Roll shoulders back and down. Fix that posture. Align nicely through the spine. Engage through the core. And so you're countering that natural bend through the low back. Excellent. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, down. Inhale, reach up and hold. Nice and strong here. Exhale, tip over towards one side. Really open up through that top arm, through that top shoulder, and then reach the arms a little bit higher if you're able to. If your shoulders or arms are really sore, of course, you can even bring the hands onto the head and do this opening up through the elbows. Excellent. Exhale, press into the knees and the legs. Maybe sink a little deeper, feeling that stretch through the ribs. And then inhale, come on, reach up and right over to the other side. Really opening up through that top arm. Connect with that breath. Reach a little bit more, maybe sink a little bit deeper. Feel that stretch, feel those obliques working to keep you in place. Excellent, come on all the way up. Reach up, hands start center, give those arms a nice little break. And then press into the arms, into the hands, roll shoulders back and down, squeeze through, and exhale, release. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, reach up and hold. Excellent. Let's come into our side bends again, and this time you can drop that bottom arm down. And so whether you just come to fingertips, still open up through that top arm, find that opening in that length, reach maybe a little bit farther. Maybe if you want more, you can walk those fingertips or even come down onto forearms. And feeling that stretch through the body. Keep rolling top shoulder to open. Maybe change the gaze to look up. That'll naturally send that top arm a little bit higher. Excellent. Press into that bottom arm. Come up nice and slow. And over towards the other side. Dropping that lower arm down, pressing into the leg. So if you're coming up just to get the arm down, you notice your leg is popping up. Really see if you can either A, press back in to find that stability, or come up a little bit higher. There's nothing saying that you have to get your forearm down other than your own ego, which I encourage you to try to let go of. Excellent. Change the gaze to look up, open up through that top arm. Maybe reach a little bit more. Beautiful. Press into the bottom hand. Come on, back up. Reach up. Hands start center. Nice little bow of the chin, tuck of the chin. Exhale, start to bow forward even more. Maybe just bringing elbows onto the knees. Or starting to, for me, pet your puppy dog. And reach forward, dropping into it. Not on camera, Callie. Maybe she's getting into full comfort mode. Excellent. And take a nice full breath. Okay, you're gonna kick me in the face. I love you, thank you. Excellent, start to come up, all the way up. A nice seated position, roll shoulders back and down, and then make your way into all fours. And so stacking your hands under your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Fingers go nice and wide. I have a nice cup of tea here, let's not forget about that. It's yoga at home, you should have a cup of tea as well. We can do tea and yoga together tomorrow. Excellent. All right, so let's come into our nice cat-cow. Drop the belly down, start to look up, press into those hands, stay nice and active through the hands, the arms. Start to tuck the chin, round through the spine. And when you feel like you're at your max, press into your hands extra and feel that extra bit of stretch that you can get. Excellent, start to drop down. Work with your own breath. Inhales to look up, don't forget to press at your max. Exhales to round through the spine. I like to do these nice and slow, as if I could feel each vertebrae and finding length and stretching out. But if you like to do these faster, of course, go ahead. Working with what your body is craving and needing. Half of yoga is listening to what you need and going with it. Excellent. All right, let's come to a nice neutral position. And let's do a couple of hip circles. And so right now your hips should be pretty neutral over your knees. And start to come out to the side and come forward. And go out to the other side, feeling this through the hips. Coming back over the feet, out to the side. Excellent. You can do these as big or as small as you want, depending on your own knees. If your knees really hurt and you didn't grab a pillow, you can just fold your mat. Like now I've tripled my mat just by adding a nice fold to it. Excellent. Next time you come towards the top, stop and go the opposite direction. You got to get both sides in. Excellent. Let's do a couple more. And then coming back towards neutral. I'm just going to untuck my mat here, just so A, I have the full length, and B, I can show you guys what's going on. So I'm just going to adjust as well. So in your neutral tabletop position, still pressing into those hands, neutral through the spine. And send the right foot out to either that 3 o'clock position if it's your right foot, 9 o'clock if you did your left. Then press into the foot, see if you can press the entirety of the foot down onto the mat or onto the floor. Excellent. Find that nice stability here. And then start to drag the foot back behind all the way to the opposite position. Now try not to kick curtains or houseplants. As you're moving, feel that stretch through the shoulder. So odds are you guys twisted a hip out to really get into that position. See if you can align those hips towards the front of the mat, squaring them off, and bring that leg back out. Nice and long and extended, planting it down and in. Feel that stretch through the inner thigh. So I'm actually adding pressure into that foot as if I could almost lift this knee up and still be pressing into this extended leg nice and strong. Excellent. Find the stretch. And then let's start to bring those hands up. Maybe hands onto hips. Excellent. Let's reach out wide like a T. Right hand towards right ankle, left hand goes up, maybe even palm up. Exhale, and drop that hand, reach up the other side. Let's come on back, reach on up, squeeze through those obliques, and drop it down. One more time, reaching up and coming down. Landing that left hand, reaching that right hand up. Beautiful. And if you want more here, let's squeeze through those hip flexors. Flex through the foot, toes come towards the face. Excellent. Really try to hold through that leg. Extend a little bit more. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Keep holding. And connect with that breath. Remember to breathe. And drop that foot down. Reach on back up. Let's come one more to this side and hold. Feel that stretch through the hip and through the sideline of the body. Roll top arm back, opening up through that shoulder. Come back to that neutral T. And then reach hands down. Bring that knee back in. If you need to take a little sway from side to side, go ahead. Excellent. And then coming into the other side and sending right foot out, or I guess left foot out. To that nice 3 o'clock position. And pressing into the foot, pressing into the hands. Excellent. And then starting to swing it back and around. And coming to that other side. Square those hips towards the front. Trying not to let it just be a twist through the waist, but a stretch through the hip. Excellent. Release. And drag the foot back behind you. Bring it back out to that 3 o'clock position. And then start to walk those hands up. Maybe onto the hips. Reach them out like a T. Excellent. Let's come into our nice side bend. Reaching up overhead. Right hand towards left foot overhead. Let's come on other way, keeping the hand light. So maybe even not touching it down all the way. And up. And down. Excellent. One more time. Up and over. And then down and land it. Reach that top arm up. If that top arm is tired, you can always let it go along the body. Or reach it back behind the back. Excellent. Let's get more into that foot. And if you want, starting to float that left leg up, flexing through the foot. Toes come towards the face. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Get that foot a little bit higher. And keep the softness. Remember to breathe. Don't clench through the teeth. Excellent. Keep holding one more full breath. Excellent. Lower it down nice and slow. And press on in. Come up. Let's do that nice little counter side bend. Come back open like a T. And then drop the hands. Bring that knee in. And sway from side to release. Nothing like getting a hair in your mouth. Beautiful. Come to stillness and tuck the toes under. Adjust the hands as you need to press into a nice downward dog. So pressing firm into those hands. If you're rounding through the spine, press more into the hands, bend through the knees, straighten through the back. Maybe even dial the hands out slightly. Feel the strength through the shoulders. And then as you're stable there, you can start to straighten the legs. Beautiful. Nice stretch. Let's look towards the front of the mat and take a couple of small steps into a forward fold. Connecting with that breath. Beautiful. Drop the head and give it a nice shake no. And inhale, halfway lift. And extend long through the crown of the head. Exhale, bend the knees, sink the hips, sweep the arms up into that nice chair pose. And press all the way up to standing. Reach up. Hands start center. Release the hands down. Come into your nice strong mountain. Rolling shoulders back and down. Legs are nice and strong. Feet are aware through the toes, the arches, and the heels. Excellent. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart. Release. Inhale, reach up. Exhale down. One more time. Inhaling up. Exhale, hands to heart. Beautiful. I'm going to step my right foot back, coming into a nice high lunge position. Releasing my hands onto my hips for a little bit of body awareness, rolling left hip back, right hip forward, extending long through my back leg, sinking deep into my front leg. To make this more gentle, simply step the feet a little bit closer together for more intensity. Add more to the space between the feet. Excellent. Feeling that stretch through those hip flexors and the quads on the right. Excellent. Let's sweep the arms up. Coming into my beloved boss arms, interlacing fingers behind the head, open up through the shoulders. Feel the elbows nice and open, squeezing through those shoulder blades. Notice, are the ribs puffing out? And can you contain the core nice and strong? Excellent. Let's bring the arms back up, reach up, and drop right arm down. Sweep it back, and adjust the feet to come into that warrior two. And so ideally, it's just planting the right heel. You might need to adjust the distance between the feet though. Excellent. Sink a little deeper. Imagining that right hip opening up, even if it's just in your head that you're visioning it. It might be just enough to adjust through. Make sure the knee stays over the foot. Excellent. Find the power. Feel nice and strong. Let's come into extended side angle. Bring that elbow onto the knee, maybe reaching the hand up or even overhead. Opening up through the shoulder, maybe changing the gaze upward. Excellent. Pressing firm into the feet, hold here for a full breath. Beautiful. Let's sweep back up to our warrior two. Reach nice and tall and strong. Both palms go up towards the ceiling, straighten through the front leg, palm toward palm, reach up. Exhale, palms face down, come on down. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. One more time, inhaling up, exhale down and hold, nice and strong. Beautiful. Let's straighten through that front leg. And kick the hip out towards the right, reach forward. And if this is your triangle pose, that's great. If you want, you can start to slide down, as long as you're not compromising into the pose. And so if this becomes your triangle, you might want to try coming up a little bit higher, reaching that hand up, reaching that hand down, pressing firm into the legs, into the feet, zipping up through those inner thighs so they're nice and strong as you press out through the feet. So you kind of have both directions happening. Excellent. One more full breath. Reach that hand overhead. Beautiful. Bring a bend to that front knee. Come on back to our warrior two. Bring hands behind you, interlacing at the fingers. Open up, lift the heart. Bring a bend through that front knee. And then align the shoulders with the leg. And kind of coming into a bit of a twist. And then exhale, lower down, coming into your humble warrior. And so whether you want to just rest the body on the leg or starting to journey the body off the leg. If you want, there's a fun little bind you can go for. Reaching the left hand back and around. The shoulders got to be able to clear the knee. And then you can reach the top arm back. Nice and strong through those legs. And if you have the bind, start to release and press on back up to our warrior two. Excellent. Straighten through the front leg. Drop the arms to the hip. Both toes point towards the long edge of the mat. You can adjust the stance as you need to. Lift the heart. Bring those hands to those imaginary jean pockets. Press the hips forward, roll shoulders back. Make it so those elbows would be invisible back behind you. And then exhale, tuck the chin. And then start to bow forward and stabilizing with those hands as you come into your wide-legged forward fold. Nice flat back. And then release the hands either onto a big old book or the ground, or even onto your body is just fine if you want to grab above the knees or the ankles or the feet or the ground. Shake the head no. Release through the head. Connect with that breath. Start to feel the stretch through the hamstring on both sides, or maybe even through the inner thighs. And send the sit bones up a little bit higher. Hinge from the hips. Notice if you gain more depth from that. Excellent. Maybe playing around, walking the hands forward slightly, bring the weight into the toes. Walk the hands backwards slightly, bring the weight into the heels, and then try to stabilize. Equal weight into the toes and the heels. Excellent. Let's come up halfway. Bring a slight bend to the knees and point the toes out slightly. Sink through the hips. Excellent. Bring those elbows onto the legs, onto that nice little shelf we created. Extend long through the crown of the head. Find some extra length. And then inhale, activate in, reach up, maybe just reach forward. Excellent. Nice little yogi goddess squat happening here. Pressing firm into the feet. Sink a little deeper. Beautiful. And then press all the way up, reach on up. Coming into that nice star pose. Exhale, bring the hands down. And then come into your warrior two on your other side. So point the opposite toes towards, the back of your mat. Reach those arms out. Excellent. Nice. Warrior two. Sink a little deeper. Imagining now that left hip opening up, spinning outward. So make sure the knee stays over the foot. Beautiful. Excellent. We're going to work backwards for this one. So bring the hands back behind you. Interlace the opposite way like that awkward handshake. Lift the heart. Align the shoulders with the leg. And on the exhale, start to lower down. Keep pressing firm into those feet. Excellent. One more. You can either lift the hands up off the back or work for that bind. Tucking the hand underneath. Feet are still nice and strong. Excellent. If you have the bind, start to release. And come on back up to our warrior two. Keep holding, sink it a little deeper. Excellent. Let's straighten through the front leg and kick the hip out to the left, reach forward and start to drop right arm down, left hand up. Reaching up for that beautiful triangle pose. Bring awareness into the hips. Keep rolling left hip open. Keep rolling top arm up and open. Excellent. Find that strength. If you need to keep just a micro bend to that knee so you're not hyperextending it, always a great option. Adjusting as you need to. Bring that hand overhead. Beautiful. Bring a bend to that front knee. Sweep on up to your warrior two. Excellent. Palms face up. Inhale, reach up. Exhales down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down, moving with your breath. Excellent. One more. Inhale up. Exhale down. I'm going to come into that extended side angle. Dropping the elbow onto the knee, reaching the hand up, resting it down, or even reaching it overhead. Finding that space and that openness, and coming into your variation that you would like to. Still strong through the feet. Imagine ripping that mat apart and engage through those inner thighs. Excellent. And let's press on up to that warrior two. Sink nice and low. Really push yourself here. You might be feeling that burn through that bent knee. Beautiful. And bring that back arm. See if you can sweep it up as you twist onto those back toes and coming into that nice high lunge. Beautiful. Roll right hip back, left hip forward. Straighten through that back leg if you can. So you're not overly bending it into it, nice and active. Sink a little deeper, reach up. Excellent. And drop the hands down to the hip and step up to the top of your mat. Excellent. Let's inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Having a nice little dangle here. And getting ready to transition into the more restorative portion of this practice. Let's inhale halfway up. Exhale, bend the knees, drop the hands, and step back. Take a little moment in your downward dog. And then drop the knees maybe nice and wide. Push into your child's pose. And so you might be facing the back of your mat or however you've set it up. Maybe that's really messing with your mind, and maybe that's a good thing. Maybe you need to challenge your version of this is how it has to be, the right and wrong, especially as you start to interact with your family a little bit more during this time. Does it have to be the way you envisioned it? Or can you allow some freedom and allow things to be different than what you first expected? Being adaptive, going with the flow. In this nice child's pose. If you want, you can just simply hang out in this traditional version of it. But I've started to enjoy adding a little bit of a twist. And so from here, I'm simply just going to bring a hand underneath and then twist it open. This top arm can go back behind, or palm towards palm, or both hands can make a little pillow for the head. And just noticing how shoulder is stacked over shoulder, or you're working towards getting there. Excellent. Connect with the breath. See if on that exhale you can soften. Scan through the body. Where are you holding that tension? And if you're in the twisted variety, reach that top arm up, press into it, and reach nice and long, and then twist over towards the other side. Maybe bringing palm towards palm, or that nice little pillow with your hands. Just really playing around with the posture. How would you like this to feel tonight? And if the twist is not serving you at all, you can either do the side bend, walking hand over hand, or if you're still in that traditional arms outstretched, maybe you want to bring your hands by your feet, maybe more of a slight tuck of the chin happening there. Excellent. Connect in. One full round of breath. Breathe in nice and deep. Exhale, let it go. If you're in the twist, bring the top arm, reach it up overhead, press in. Let's take one full breath back in this traditional arms outstretched version. Beautiful. Press into those hands and start to make your way into a seated position. Excellent. Let's sit with our legs extended nice and long and nice and wide. Bring the hands back behind you to start. Sense into those sits bones. Maybe give yourself a little wiggle. Press into the hands, roll shoulders down. Extend through those feet, activating into the legs. Knees can be gently bent if that's hard on the knees. Or imagine lifting the kneecaps. That'll help aim more into the legs. And if you're happy just hanging out here, you're more than welcome to. If you want, you can start to bring shoulders more over hips, either by walking the hands a little bit closer towards the body. Let's get into some internal and external rotation of the feet. And I did this the other night, if you were following along. So starting by making sure the toes are equal distance away from the body. They're not bending out in either way. Maybe that's enough for you there. And then try to bring the toes pointing inward. So the goal is to not twist through the knee and let it just be a twist for your calf. It's supposed to come all the way up the leg into the femur, and you're feeling that whole thigh twist inwards on both sides. So that nice stretch. And then you're probably holding tension here. So as you keep trying to bring your feet inwards, can you soften, relax? Relaxing through those hip flexors and some of those tendons, big muscles happening through your hips and through your pelvis. Excellent. And come back to neutral. And then let's go for some external rotation. So now having the feet dialing outwards, start to feel the spin of bringing the feet out. I feel like I have some pretty decent external rotation, so I can get my feet all the way down. Maybe for you, they just come a little bit, like a little ballerina. Excellent. And then sitting here, can you relax and soften? Are you squeezing through those glutes? Can you let it go? Relax through the low back. Excellent. And start to bring those knees or those feet back up to neutral. And then if you want, you can simply hang out here, or maybe you want to bring the legs even wider. And we're going to play around with wide-legged forward fold, but we're going to take like the full 2 minutes and to come into whatever your full variation of it. And so if you know you can already do like pancake pose and laying flat forward, go nice and slow. See if you can sense into it and release. And some people kind of need to adjust their feet. Get that external rotation as you go. Excellent. So holding here and moving at your own pace. Maybe you just slowly bring your hands on top of your legs. Maybe you just anchor in, holding on underneath. Maybe you walk your hands down as you hinge from the hips, so send the sits bones back. Maybe you reach for the feet. I'll stop talking now and let you just focus on what your pose looks like. It does not have to look like mine in any way, shape, or form. We're going to take roughly 5 to 7 more breaths in this pose. Can you soften? Can you relax, release? And taking it easy. Maybe you can sense in and feel that low back. Can you release any tension from there? Holding for one more full round of breath. A nice deep inhale, make it audible. Exhale, side out. Excellent. On the next exhale, slowly start to press up. And coming back to shoulders over the hips. And very gently, you might have stretched lots through these inner tendons along the knee. And start to bring a bend to the legs, maybe one at a time. Bringing knees together, let's sit up nice and tall. And then with that exhale, bring the soles of the feet to touch. And coming into this nice cobbler pose. Excellent. Make sure that you have enough room to recline backwards. But before we go back, we're gonna go forward. If turtle is something that's in your practice, go ahead and play around. To make cobbler more gentle, simply bring the feet farther away from the body. That might help the knees go down a little bit more. Or if you're looking for more intensity, bringing the feet in, press in. And when you're ready and you have the nice stance set with your feet, inhale, get nice and tall, and then exhale, come into your variation of that forward fold. But here you can drop the head and round through the shoulders. And sometimes even if you have a block or a book or even a pillow, it might be nice to rest that forehead, that third eye, and pressure point in on that. If you're wondering what turtle was that I mentioned earlier, you usually have to bring your feet a little bit farther away from the body for that. And then as you fold forward, you tuck one arm under, coming down onto your forearm. And hanging out here. This is your little turtle. And then from here, you can drop your head down. I like that little anchoring that it gives as the legs press into the arms. It just relaxes a little bit more through my shoulders, through that part of my back. Excellent. Let's take 3 to 5 more full breaths. Inhaling nice and slow. Exhale, let it go. If you're in that turtle, start to release the hands. And then start to roll up like a ragdoll, nice and slow, one vertebrae at a time. I'm going to just spin to adjust here. So you're back in that nice seated cobbler pose. And then taking that nice exhale breath, start to journey back behind. You might notice some tension areas through the hips. You might need to wiggle through the legs as you recline back down. I'm going nice and slow. You're rolling shoulders back and down. Maybe you want a little pillow for the head. And now you're in that nice reclined cobbler pose. And can you relax that low back? Can you imagine that opening up through the hips, like that little lotus flower? Knees are heavy. If you need a pillow under the knees, that's always a great option. And start to connect in with the breath. If you've got a really busy mind and you struggle with restorative versions of postures, focusing in on the breath, letting that breath be the anchor is such a wonderful tool to use. And so maybe you want to count the length of the inhale, seeing how long it takes you to simply breathe in and fill your lungs completely. Counting it out. Take a normal exhale. And then see if you can add 1 or 2 on to that inhale. Breathing in nice and deep and nice and slow. And taking a couple of those as you just start to lengthen that inhale breath. Taking one more full round of breath, inhaling nice and deep. Exhale nice and slow, let it go. And then maybe even with helping hands, starting to bring those knees back up together. Excellent. Start to walk the feet wide and let the knees fall inward. Knees do not have to come to touch. We're just getting a little internal rotation after we've done tons of external rotation. We'll hold here for just a couple of breaths, 3 to 5. If your knees start to hurt, you can always just lengthen through the legs and bring those toes pointing inward. That's still getting external or internal rotation, but it's a little bit more gentle on the knees. And can you soften? Can you relax or release? Maybe coming back to that intention you set at the beginning of class. Let's take one more full round of breath here, breathing in, filling the lungs, and exhale, let it go, nice and slow. And then slowly start to heel toe the feet back towards center. And send the legs nice and long. Let's take a nice good morning stretch. Just help reset everything, point through the toes, reach nice and tall. Exhale, let it go. And coming into a fallen tree. So think of your tree pose. You've got your one standing leg, and then you start to slide the sole of your foot up that nice standing leg, coming into your depth, and let that knee fall open. I love to add on to this here. If you're happy just staying here, letting this be another stretch through the hips, through the legs, go ahead. Or let's come into those nice boss arms, so interlacing fingers underneath the head. Start that awkward way first this time. He always ends up being second. And then you can add into that side bend. So trying to bring elbow towards knee of whatever side you chose. And I have to wiggle through on my shoulders. And I'm trying to keep my arms down on either side. So if that one side started to pop up, you might have gone too far. Or you might just need to be aware and have some intention into softening it. Feeling that stretch, maybe all the way through that underarm, over the ribs, through the hip, maybe even all the way down the leg to the ankle. And connect in with that breath. maybe this time to task your mind, you want to bring attention to your exhale. And adding a count to your natural exhale. How long does it take you to try to push all of the air out of your lungs? And then on your next exhale, trying to add on to that number. Maybe you want to add 2 or 3 onto it. And taking another full round of breath here. And trying to soften and settle into it. And then after that breath, start to wiggle the back and the shoulders and back towards neutral. It might be hard to find after a side bend. That was me as well. And let's just take a quick counter twist, wiggling over towards the other side. I have a super sticky mat, so this is proving to be a challenge. Still trying to keep both shoulders planted in, and ideally both arms all the way down to the elbow, and softening, releasing. You might feel the stretch a little bit more through that opposite side of the body, through the hip, and down the knee. Can you soften, relax, release? Use that nice strong exhale. Let it go. Not holding this side for as long. So take that other nice long full round of breath. Breathing in, filling the lungs. Exhale, let it go. Then start to wiggle back towards neutral. Release the hands. And start to press that foot down, back towards neutral. So legs are long, arms are slightly extended, shoulders rolled back and down. Excellent. Taking just a full round of breath in this nice little rebound position. It's normal to feel a little bit of tingle sensation as we restricted a bit of blood flow and energy. And then just returns back to neutral as we release through this posture. And then let's start to set up through the feet. Imagining that nice standing position, nice tree pose, and then slide the sole of the foot onto the leg, maybe sliding it off the leg, opening up through the knee, let it fall open. Excellent. Bringing hands interlaced behind the head, wiggling over to bring that elbow towards the bent knee. Keeping both shoulders firm on the ground. And connect in with this breath. We hold for roughly 5 to 7 breaths worth of time. Feeling that nice stretch through. You can relax through what would be that standing leg if you haven't done so already. And can you soften any tension from the hip, the ribs, the shoulders, even the neck and the jaw. And taking some time to feel where you feel it in the body. And if you want, you can wiggle a little bit deeper to intensify into this posture. Let's take another full round of breath. And then start to bring the head and the shoulders back towards neutral. And then all the way through, just doing a nice little counter bend on this side. And connect in with that breath. And soften, relax, release. Maybe feel it through that hip on whatever side the leg is bent. And if you're not feeling anything, that's okay as well. It's not really all about finding or striving for that sensation, but it's really just about taking some time to restore into the body, taking some time to meditate on what you choose to, and connect in with the breath and enjoy a bit of stillness, that letting go. On the next exhale, start to wiggle back towards neutral. And release the hands, reach them out, and then slide that foot down. Let's come into just a nice fallen star variation. So legs go nice and wide, even off your mat if you dare. Hands can still be down if you'd prefer, or you can bring them up overhead, more into a star or pentacle position. And then hold here. Can you soften? Can you feel your vertebrae pressing in towards the mat, relaxing, softening? And can you soften through the ribs, letting them naturally rise and fall with the breath? Collarbone feels open, palms facing upwards. You're welcome to stay here for your final Shavasana posture, or if there's another pose or movement that you feel like you'd like to get into for your final pose. If you've got a wall handy, legs up the wall would feel just extra nice if you're able to get into that at home. Or even here feels really good. We'll just still do that freestyle portion of the class. So if there is another pose or movement you want to get into, now is the time to listen to your body and start to move in towards that. And connect with your breath. And then start to settle into that final pose. If you're watching the video, I'm going to make my way up to seated simply so I don't fall asleep and join you in Shavasana. But see if you can take like 15 to 20 deep, full breaths. We've been working lots with the breath this evening, of adding on to that inhale, slowing it down, and taking full intentional exhales. See if you can start to sip all of the air out of your lungs. At what point do you naturally become a little bit nervous? And that's a natural trigger within your body. And can you have control over that? Taking some time, finding your stillness, and as you simply breathe. And as you continue to breathe, maybe remembering that intention you set at the beginning of class, perhaps even reflecting on your yoga practice, or just being aware of your intention once more, calling it to memory. Maybe you want to take a little moment and set an intention for the rest of your evening, maybe for the rest of your day to come. Starting to be thankful for each moment we're given, living our life with gratitude and purpose. And let's take one more full breath, breathing in nice and deep. Exhale, let it go. And then start to wiggle into those fingers and toes. And roll wrists and ankles. Getting more of those cracks and pops out. And then take some movements you would love to take in reawakening the body. Maybe take another good morning stretch. Maybe hug those knees in towards your chest. Moving around. And then when you're ready, make your way up to a nice seated position, sitting comfortably for whatever works best for you. But still trying to find that length. So rolling shoulders back and down, extending long through the spine, slight tuck at the chin. And bring your hands to heart center. I thank you so much for letting me guide you, for watching my video, either this evening or whenever you had a chance to. It's always an honor to get to share my practice and to teach, which is one thing I love. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to do so. I hope that the rest of your evening is filled with joy and that you are always blessed. Namaste. Thank you very much. Beautiful. If you have any questions or feedback or any pose requests for the upcoming classes, I'm going to try to do one every night at 30, kind of more of the evening yoga, because there's lots happening throughout the day. Feel free to join in or share this. It's always, I think I'm always able to stream from my personal page, and then I can share it out from there, or you can share it out from there as well once I hit the stop streaming button. So yeah, let me know what you guys want to see. I've got a gentle flow planned for tomorrow, so similar style, but we'll add in some of those sun salutations or vinyasas into there. And all levels welcome. And yeah, so thank you so much. And I will hit the stop button, stop talking, and let you have your evening back. Have a good night. Bye for now.